In April of 1775, the construction of Fort Boonesborough began. Daniel Boone had been traveling with his men and had dealt with many issues concerning Native Americans in the area. It was decided this area along the Kentucky River would be a good choice. Why might it be beneficial to build a fort in this spot? By the summer of 1775, there were 26 cabins and 4 blockhouses at the fort. What were the purposes of the blockhouses? The cabins at Fort Boonesborough were very different from the homes we live in today. Most cabins of that time didn't have separate rooms, but consisted of one big open space. The settlers living at the fort had items similar to those pictured here. They didn't have many personal items to speak of. Why do you think this is? Surveyors were an important part of the growing country in the early days, especially in newly settled areas. A surveyor would come to places, such as Fort Boonesborough, to map out the area. Why would this be such an important task to do? When living at a fort, the residents were responsible for producing almost all of the necessary items for day-to-day living. The garden was an especially important part to ensure people had an adequate supply of food. While there may not have been as many women as men living at the fort, they were still an integral part of the community there. Women living at the fort would sew, knit, spin wool, make candles, and prepare food. Some women were even taught how to use weapons just like the men. Why might it be important for the women to know how to use weapons? The blacksmith was an extremely important person at the fort. They were responsible for making items from metal. Here are some items made by a blacksmith. What items do you see? Why would it be vital to have a blacksmith at the fort? A woodworker is another essential person to have at the fort. What might the woodworker be responsible for doing? In the fall of 1778, Native Americans attacked the fort. This siege lasted 9 days until the Native Americans finally gave up and left. Why do you think the fort was able to survive an attack of this length and magnitude?